Welcome to Cisco Live,
Las Vegas, and we are bringing to you the first ever basement series.
Out of the Basement.
Woohoo!
Welcome back. It is the Basement Series. We are out of the basement. We are in Las Vegas at Cisco Live, and I'm really excited about this topic. It is one that I am pretty passionate about. I don't know about you.
Absolutely.
Wireless.
Super passionate about Wi-Fi.
And we have an exciting guest to share some really exciting news with us. Could you introduce yourself, please, and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Stephen. This is pretty exciting times, and super excited to be here in Vegas. So I'm Shail Talati. I lead the wireless platforms for the network experiences as part of our Catalyst portfolio. And today we have announced our one of the biggest change or one of the biggest kind of portfolio shift with our 6 gigahertz access points. Super exciting times. This is a kind of a big shift in a technology point of view, as every 5 years, 10 years, we see a tectonic shift in a technology. We had 2.4 gigahertz devices, 5 gigahertz devices. Now we have 2.4, 5, and 6 gigahertz devices. It's pretty exciting times.
That is really cool. So there was a big announcement today in the keynote. Could you talk a little bit about what was announced?
Absolutely. So if you go to the next slide, one of the most, I think, important thing for customer is to how they define their journey in their network management and network deployment. Right. And today, we announce one of the big thing. As we all know, the Catalyst is the brand when it comes to networking.
Absolutely.
Whether it's switching, wireless, routing, it's from an infrastructure and a platform point of view, it's the best possible networking brand. And when you talk about Meraki is all about simplicity, cloud management, delivering the experience that customers want.
Right.
And today we are announcing a series of platforms that take an advantage of Catalyst and Meraki brands together, and how the customers can deploy their networks in their environment.
So the best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds, yes.
This is what
Fantastic.
we've been waiting for a long time, and we know it takes a lot of effort, and we want to make sure we get it right. And this is really exciting. Super cool.
Absolutely.
So tell us, tell us more about the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we talk about the nitty gritty of how these access points are, if you go to the next slide, I think one of the areas that I wanted to kind of emphasize, and this is pretty important, right? That for the customers who are on a journey of on-prem deployments, they have invested years and years in Cisco's Catalyst basically portfolio, previously maybe a prime infrastructure to a DNAC. They are basically deploying their networks in a complex environment, sometimes even air-gap networks.
Sure.
They would prefer to basically deploy their networks in an environment. And then on the other side, the customers who have deployed their networks with the Meraki's dashboard, with the simplicity and how they can deploy, we are giving multiple ways for these customers to deploy their networks. And the idea here is that we are not like some of our competitors who force them to go on one or the other.
Right.
We actually give them both the options, and they can decide when do they want to take their plunge or their part of their journey, when they want to move from on-prem to cloud, and decide when and how they want to deploy their networks. It's a pretty powerful deployment options for these customers.
Right,
Because
absolutely.
that's what our customers have been waiting for: flexibility and choice, and
Right.
and like I said, bringing the best of both the portfolios together. It's fantastic. So tell us about some of the benefits that we can expect that are in those access points.
Absolutely. So as I said, right, the access points are basically, in past you have to make these tough choices, right?
Right.
If you are for the next 3, 5, 10 years, should I basically pick an on-prem access points? They were different. They were Catalyst wireless, Catalyst basically wireless portfolio, and then the customer would have to choose from. I want to deploy this in a cloud environment, so they will choose the Meraki wireless portfolio. Not anymore.
So we have a video for that, right?
It actually warrants an amazing video. And Steven, don't worry, we have put ton of basically innovation in these access points.
Good.
But whatever extra funding we had, we have put that in this particular video.
Nice.
It's over the top.
Let's check it out. Let's check
see
it
it.
out. All right, so we got our 2 access points. Yep.
They were separate,
Oh, wow.
and they're coming together.
There was not a whole lot of extra budget left there, was there? That's good. I'm glad that we all went into the design of the access point. That actually is pretty cool. This is really neat. So this is one access point, and I can choose to deploy it on premises. I can choose to deploy it cloud managed. What if conditions change down the road? Tell me about that.
So I wanted to kind of basically reiterate. It's actually 3 access points today, but all in future. So this is a portfolio of access points. Think of
Okay.
that. So
Okay, yeah.
right, so we are announcing 9166, 64, and 62.
Right.
But any access point moving forward are going to have a capability to operate in either of these persona or either of these modes.
Great.
Now you asked a very important question, right? What if in future I started with an on-prem deployment, my network is basically running really well, I want to now repurpose these access points for some of my branch networks, right? That's where the biggest dilemma in past used to come, that you decide where exactly, do you have to buy a different set of access points? Not anymore. This particular time onwards, we will basically have the same access point can be converted to basically taking an advantage of. If you're an on-prem customer and you want to move to a cloud, Cisco's sales partner and support team will closely work with you to make sure that it's pretty and it's pretty easy to basically do it through the dashboard, and so you can deploy this, but we will make sure that you have all the entitlement, all the necessary basically steps taken to make sure your network transition is pretty seamless.
That's great.
But I mean, in this high density world, and with all those IoT devices coming into the air, and we need features like clean air now more than ever. Are they still available in even in the new line of products?
Absolutely. So let's take an example of customer who is deploying on-prem, right, in a DNAC kind of mode or DNAC persona. One of the idea is that in past we used to have basically a built-in hardware that did a lot of clean air of your network. Now, those of you who are new to our podcast or who are new to our Catalyst portfolio, I wanted to kind of take you to the in a history lane, right? So in a clean air is about basically looking at your environment. Like wireless is all about your environment and type of clients.
Yeah.
So you want to look at it, what exactly is getting deployed in your network, how many incumbent are present in that particular spectrum or that particular channel.
Yep.
Is there an interference? Is there a DFS? A whole bunch of other things. Clean air basically allows you to look at that like an automatic. It kind of gives you like a vision that gives you an insight into how your network should be deployed.
Sure.
Now, fast forward yourself today, the Clean Air Pro that comes with these particular access points in a DNAC persona mode. One of the idea is that we will make sure that we deliver the automated experience for these customers. So you as a Mr. Customer, you don't have to worry about and tweak and change the complex, basically take the complex steps to basically do that. We overlay an AI ML based software on top of these particular radio that scans and basically makes sure that you have the best 2.4, 5, and 6 gigahertz deployment channels for your access points. It's pretty amazing.
Fantastic.
And we are the only one who does that, and we do the best.
So so we're integrating AI into this. Can you tell me a little bit about what the AI does for us specifically?
Absolutely. So as you can imagine, right, that you can use there is never a replacement for human intelligence, but you can always have an AI assisted view of your network. That's exactly what it does. What it does is basically takes the billions of data points that our Cisco access points are experiencing. You look at all your network and the RF basically spectrum, and look at basically where exactly the particular access point is deployed, what type of environment, what type of channels are used, and then you decide which one is the best possible channel to deploy, right?
Okay.
Right.
And as we all know, right, the intense work that the ML basically algorithm does that in the background gives you one of the best answers. Now, sometimes due to changing environment or so forth, we still give you all the advanced capabilities that you can still change and use those nerd knobs in your environment, but we still have all of that. Like 90% of the work is already done in the background, so you don't have to do it. So we make your life easier.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
That is a
absolutely,
big deal.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
And another big topic that is very big with our customers, but you see it here at Cisco Live as well, sustainability. And I was reading in the announcement of our new access points how big the sustainability is, and how Cisco is really contributing to a better and a greener world. Can you tell us about that?
Fantastic question, right? So this is the one area that I think Cisco does an amazing job, right? From sustainability of like a day-to-day operation of the access point, or even if you're a broader kind of network components like switching and routing and everything around your network, but also from the packaging, also from transport, also from kind of when you do at the end of life cycle of an access point, how do you sustainably take care of that particular access point? It's all integrated. That's one of the reasons why Cisco is basically the best and one of the best sustainable kind of supply chain basically infrastructure that we have. Now, going back to those particular access point. Now, if you can imagine, almost a year ago when we were designing some of these access points, we gave some two very hard problems to our engineers. Number one, can we operate this access point in the most powerful way with the lowest power consumption in the industry, right? One of the big basically investment that we made is that how do you operate most of the capabilities in this particular access point, how can you maximize that capability at the PoE plus power? Now, a lot of our customers have a PoE plus switches, right? They might not be ready. Sometimes they might not even have the budget to deploy the UPoE switches, or they don't want to upgrade at this time.
But hold on. You're saying PoE plus. That must be an error because that's maximum 30 watts.
It's 30 watts.
It's not an error, Steven. That's exactly what it is, right? It was such a hard problem for our engineers to make sure that we give one of the best performance and some of the best performing access points in the industry with that power capability, because we wanted to make sure that these customers can plan their network deployments and the buying cycle.
Sure.
The second and the most important thing is, and Jason and I were talking about just before this recording, we were talking about that there is one part is giving the nerd knobs to the customer. So
Sure.
I'll give you an example, right? In the time like typical office hours from 8 to 6, all of your capacity of access point is utilized.
Yep.
It works really well. It gives you the best performance. But then after 6, once you start seeing the clients basically going away, right? How do you can you turn off certain radios? Can you turn off certain power change of the access point so that you can save some power? And that is part of the sustainability vision that we have. Now take that step. Take the one step forward. Now, if you look at it, now you have list of capabilities that you have learned from this particular client environment, right? Now, can you apply an AI ML? Can you apply an intelligence on top of that so that you can create a profile for that particular deployment? Once you do that, one of the biggest advantage there is that now you can save not only at per access point level, but you can start applying that same profile to the entire area and your
Right.
entire kind of deployment,
Right.
and start thinking about that. How can I give you more dollar value back to the customer? Yearly X dollar worth of basically savings can be shown, and the customer would basically can go back to their CIO and show that, hey, that particular deployment that I did, it's actually saving energy,
Right.
and it's sustainable
You can
deployment.
show it on a report.
You can show it on a report. So
Fantastic.
that's the kind of like a longer term vision. We're working with our engineers, super excited about this particular deployment and how we have come across this particular set of access points, the 91, 66, 64, and 62.
I see them on the screen here, and I would even say they look fantastic technically.
Aesthetically,
the flexibility is fantastic, and I was going to go the aesthetically.
It looks great. Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I would say these are the first access points that my wife would be actually interested to have in the house.
Showing?
Showing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that topic, how does your home Wi-Fi look like?
All right, Steven, you're gonna get me in trouble now. So I'll give you one of the stories for my home. Right. So I was spending very little time in my home before the COVID time, and in COVID I started spending time. We had our kids basically taking their calls, their school basically work, and all of us
we were all there.
we were basically in that same home using devices. I started deploying, as you can imagine, I have all Catalyst portfolio right now. So I've got switching and the Wi-Fi access point. And one of the things that we started discovering that we have way too many devices. We had almost 38 to 40 devices and growing
With how many people?
with 4 people, right?
10 to 1 ratio.
10 to 1,
That's-
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the one thing that I learned is that every time I buy a new device, right, nowadays they're all Wi-Fi enabled, right? And I read all these reports that billions of devices are coming. These are the Wi-Fi devices that are going to get deployed across either in your home or in a work environment.
Yep.
And the idea here is that how do you basically segment them? How do you monitor, manage them? So DNAC does an amazing job. Same is with Meraki Health. You can look at your network. You can look at how these devices are deployed. And times like this, that every now and then I get a request from my wife to turn off Wi-Fi after certain times when your kids are there. So I take an advantage of some of our infrastructure and software capabilities.
Love that. Love
Seems to be a recurring theme with some of our guests.
Exactly,
Turning off Wi-Fi for their kids. Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
I would say we are very thankful for everything that you do for Cisco, for our customers, and for being with us in our podcast.
Absolutely.
We are super excited about the products that you are launching.
Yeah, please pass on our gratitude to your colleagues for the focus on innovation and quality and making sure you do it right. I know we've been waiting a long time for this, and sometimes it's hard to wait, but we definitely appreciate a good quality product.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Thank you very much for the invite. And as I said, this is a journey. I think this is going to be an amazing step forward, where we take the advantage of the best of both portfolio, as Steven, you said, from the Meraki and Catalyst, and how do we combine the power of both and make sure that our customers really experience the best wireless and wired portfolio in the industry.
So
Fantastic.
before we let you go, for people, our 15,000 friends who are here with us in Las Vegas, and for those who couldn't make it, or maybe they're seeing this a little bit later on, where can they go to learn more?
The best place is that you go to cisco.com, look for the wireless portfolio under the networking, and we will have all the information that I just basically discussed, and we will make sure that that information is available across the board. And
It is now, right? It's
It is.
launched?
We are.
So-
Yes, it is. It is
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
Yes. So
absolutely,
the button is pressed. It will be available online. Yes.
Great.
Love it. How about for here? How about here at Cisco Live?
So Cisco Live, I would really recommend them to go to the World of Solution. We have several breakout sessions. Those who have taken advantage of some of the tech tutorials, please attend some of the sessions. They are amazing. You will get amazing information about Wi-Fi 6E, when to deploy Wi-Fi 6E versus 6,
Right.
how you can run the AI RRM Clean Air Pro, some of the DNAC basically inside, how Cisco portfolio works really well with Apple, Samsung, Intel, some of these players, because interoperability is one of the big thing on everyone's mind, and then power save mode and how we are taking an advantage of the entire portfolio, including our wireless, wired routing, everything, and on top of that a security portfolio, how we can look at the end-to-end network management and network security across Cisco. So please attend those sessions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of your time here at Cisco Live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Good.